She's blocking my only road, clipboard in hand, smile like a blade, standing between me and my livelihood. You ever meet someone who doesn't just want to win an argument, they want to own the whole battlefield? That's who stood there in the morning light, claiming authority over my life. And when she controlled the surface, I had to go underground. Literally. Because the secret tunnel I dug changed everything. Comment your own HOA horror story below, because what you about to hear, isn't just a neighbor, dispute it, a siege. 2 months before that tunnel, I was just Miles C., a combat engineer turned organic farmer trying to keep his head down. The land was my reset button. Early mornings, coffee steaming on the porch, delivery schedules lined up like clockwork. Then one morning, my coffee went cold while I stared at something that definitely hadn't been there yesterday, a steel gate across my only access road. It looked like a medieval barricade, and next to it stood Linda H., HOA, board chair. Clipboard at the ready, her smile rehearsed to look reasonable while doing something insane. She waved like we were at a bake sale. Miles, we've had safety concerns, just a misunderstanding. Her tone was sugar over steel. And then came the petition. Neighbors allegedly worried about my road access. You ever talk to someone who's playing chess while you're still unwrapping the board? That was Lynda.com, calculating, glancing repeatedly at the corner of her property like it held a secret. I tried to stay calm. This is my only road. Can't just block it. Her smile widened. Of course, we should involve the proper authorities. That's what responsible neighbors do. That word, authorities, landed like a stone in my stomach. She wanted me to call the cops. That confidence wasn't normal. And she kept talking about her special garden project. The right soil depth, proper protection. Plants like nuclear secrets. I watched as she keyed something into her phone, and tiny LEDs flickered under the mulch. Motion sensors, junction boxes, not landscaping monitoring. Next morning, she appeared at my porch with a manila folder, legal-looking papers fanned out like a card shark. Police reports from 15 years ago. Court documents. Private investigators' timeline of everywhere I'd lived since Texas. My past dissected on her breakfast table. At 25, I'd been a mess PTSD bar fight, assault charges I ran from instead of facing. That warrant was still active. Linda leaned back, voice dripping sympathy. Outstanding warrants don't just disappear, do they, Miles? She named the local sheriff as her cousin, a dedicated public servant. The implication was clear. Join the HOA. Pay $18,000 in back fees, or she makes a call. I realized then this wasn't a neighbor feud. This was an operation. She'd investigated me 3 months before the gate even went up. While my delivery schedules collapsed, Linda built a narrative. Paper attacks, automated HOA notices about structural concerns, fines for noncompliance, phone trees that never reached a human, as vendor squeeze, anonymous community safety bulletins sent to my clients, suggesting reevaluation of service risk, social media smear, a new neighborhood group full of posts about unstable veteran behavior, photos of my surveying equipment miscast as dangerous excavation machinery, neighbors who once waved now crossed the street, even the mail carrier left packages at the gate. She weaponized suburban politeness. All the while, that corner garden evolved into a surveillance exhibit lawn, ornaments with pinhole lenses, epoxy seals for watertight gear, desiccant packs for long-term storage. My contractor friend texted me a photo of her at the hardware store buying depth rods and weatherproof containers. Plants don't need tamper alerts. Secrets do. Martha, another board member, whispered to me one afternoon. Linda keeps saying she has protection buried where only she knows about it. Insurance that will last forever if anyone gets too nosy. Insurance? In a suburban garden? Combined with her midnight heritage plant sessions during last year's storm, the timeline was chilling. Years of prep, months of investigation, weeks of psychological warfare. She'd turned 60% of the neighborhood into allies by feeding them fear and lies about me. Not evil people, scared people. My organic certification came under review. Delivery drivers refused to cross the dangerous access road. The business was unraveling. Military training teaches you to assess terrain, identify weaknesses, and adapt. Linda H. controlled the surface. Fine. Time to go underground. A veteran forced to tunnel like a prisoner to access his own property? The irony was in T lost on me. I surveyed the land. 200 feet, 6 feet deep, reinforced for equipment weight. Engineering problems I could solve. Psychological warfare from an HOA. New territory. But I was learning fast. Her attacks continued. Fake case numbers, anonymous complaints. Vendor silence, but I started mapping her moves like an enemy commander. Then came the sound that froze me at 2 a.m. Someone digging in Linda's garden. It wasn't Linda. Jake and Pete, veteran buddies with dark humor and practical skills, arrived at midnight to help. "This is the most elaborate middle finger I've ever helped construct," Jake muttered, scanning the tunnel plans under a flashlight. Pete was already calculating soil displacement. They got it. When the system tries to crush you with manufactured compliance, sometimes you have to get creative. Drop a comment if you've ever had a neighbor who turned your life upside down, because this story is about to get worse. The tunnel was just the beginning.